and I wish a great day to our lecturer, which is Sir SHAZALI Shaharudin. Now, our group will present about accounting information of Snadi Enterprise. The content of our presentation are introduction, business background, classification of business item, characteristic of the business, the recording of the business, strength and weakness, and conclusion. For the introduction, our group research aim is to know the progress of the business. We also want to know about the surrounding of the business, such as who is the owner, the business type and its characteristic. We had discussed how they handle the flow of their business, especially for the recording and accounting process of the business during the peak mode of customer and buyers coming here. Next, we will talk about the business background. The name of the business is Snadi Enterprise. This business is a sole proprietorship. It is located at Plaza Usahawan Jalan Hang Tuah, 75300 Melaka Tengah, Melaka. The shop was operated in 2007 and has been operating for 17 years. The owner's name is Puan Nurul Huda binti Muhammad Nasir. She is 38 years old. The capital for starting this business is around 20,000 ringgit cash from the owners. Snadi Enterprise has offered printing, photostat, and binding services for students completing their tasks and assignments.
Hi, right now I want to talk about the classification of the business item. As you guys know, every company has their own account statement and balance sheet. So I want to present the balance sheet of the Snadi Enterprise. I will talk about their asset, liability, drawing, capital, revenue, and expenses. So asset. Assets are items owned by a business with future economic value measured in currency, and they can be classified into non-current asset, current asset, and non-current investment. So the non-current asset of the Snadi Enterprise are 2 photostat machines, 6 printer machine, 7 computer binding and laminate machine. Estimate at 1,000 ringgit after deducting 30% depreciation every year. Estimate value of around 50,000 to 70,000, and the current asset of Snadi Enterprise is a cash, such as cash in hand and cash in bank. A lot of students pay in cash and transfer into every bank account payment. Average cash in hand is around 300 ringgit and cash in bank is around 500 ringgit. Next is liabilities. Liabilities are business financial obligation to creditors. It is classified as non-current liability and current liability. So, Snadi Enterprise has a current liabilities which is account payable. It comes from supplier of toilet paper shop Sendian Berhad and supply ink at Kuala Lumpur. Sometimes they can afford to pay in full payment to buy paper and ink from the supplier. So, Ms. Nurul need to buy all stock in credit or installment with supplier. However, Snadi Enterprise has a non-current liability, which is a long-term loan. When the pandemic happened in 2020, Ms. Nurul has took a loan from Mara amounted 50,000 ringgit. Payment for every month is 890 with 3% interest for 5 years. Next is drawing. Drawings are defined as the act of business owner withdrawing cash or asset from the company for personal use. The owner of Snadi Enterprise drew something for herself. She will, for instance, deduct 500 from the company to cover her own expenses. She also said she will set aside money from the firm for emergencies, including going to a private clinic to get checked out in case of health problems. Next is capital. Capital can refer to funds raised to support a particular business or project. Capital can also represent the accumulated wealth of business, represented by its assets and liabilities. In our research, we have concluded that the owner of the Snadi Enterprise put 2,000 ringgit cash in hand for the company's capital. As for the business ownership, it is fully held by Puan Nurul Huda binti Muhammad Nasir. Hence, the profit belongs to the owner and any losses incurred will be incurred by the owner. Next is revenue. Revenue is the money generated from normal business operations, calculated as the average sale price times the number of units sold. Revenue is also known as the sales on the income statement. The example is photostat service, printing service, binding service, business card, laminating files commission, hardcover service, internet service. So, operating income was generated via Snadi Enterprise regular business dealing. This firm target a daily goal of generating at least 150 in income. However, it only managed to generate slightly less than 3,000 per month, meaning that by the end of each semester, their operating revenues come to 50,000 ringgit. Because of the majority of students requested inexpensive printing and photostat charge, the business owner had to establish a low sale objective. And the last one is expenses. And expenses is the decrease in value of an asset used to generate revenue. Snadi Enterprise has a lot of operating expenses. For example, their worker salary is 1,500 per month. Utilities such as water, electricity, machine maintenance, security system and internet are 3,000 per month, and rent expenses are 1,200 per month. So that's it from me. We will continue this presentation for the next topic.
So, I will continue to talk about the characteristic of the business and the recording process of the business. So, Snadi Enterprise was registered in 2007 and acknowledged by the Companies Commission of Malaysia as known as CCM, where they registered their main activity is printing and internet services, where they provide their services, which is most likely giving the customers a chance to surf the internet, experiences and touch up for their work like binding piles of paper. The owner is required to prepare the capital using their own property because this type of business is a sole proprietorship. Based on our study, Snadi Enterprise put in 20,000 cash in hand for the company's capitals, and the business ownership was fully held by Ms. BINTI. Thus, the profit and any losses incurred will be incurred about by the owner. Even though Ms. Nurhuda has fully organized the business, she still hires an employee to assist her when she is not around, so the business may run smoothly when she is away. She is not there. In addition, they play their roles in this business, but at the same time, they also need each other help to keep the companies organized. We receive information that Snadi Enterprise has some liability for non-current liabilities for the company. There are bank loans for MARA and account payables, whereas for the book account, we conclude that the company of Abrek, Soris and Gift doesn't really have the legal obligation to keep the book and prepare accounts. Yet they use a manual method where they use a book as a journal to keep all business transactions such as their sale and any business expenses. And that's all for the characteristic, and I will continue with the recording process of the business. Basically, we have a recording process, which is source document, books of prime entry or journal, ledger, trial balance, adjust entries, adjust trial balance, final sales statement, and lastly, reversing entries. Source document first. Source document is the original record containing the details to substantiate a transaction entered in an accounting system. As an enterprise, just use a certain of documents like bank statement, purchase order, and invoice in his transaction business, but others documents will not always be used. Subsequent, we have books of prime entry or journal. A journal is a detailed account that records all the financial transactions of a business to be used for future reconciling of and transfer to other official accounting records. As Snadi Enterprise, record the event occurs in appropriate journal because the owner just manage the business herself, not appoint any employees to work in this area of accounting, which is her just write down her notebook manually. Next, we have ledger. Ledger, or traditionally known as T accounts, with the debits and the left side and credits on the right side. Another format of presenting ledger is a 3-column ledger account. Ms. Nabil, who are the owner of Snadi's enterprise, also not record the transaction occurs in the ledger. She just notes in any book which she wants. And then we have trial balance. Trial balance is an accounting report that lists the balances in each of an organization general ledger's account. The balances of all ledgers are compiled into debit and credit account column letters that are full. Since Ms. Nurul does not record the transaction of her business in the appropriate journal and also ledger, she does not prepare the trial balance. Next, we have adjust entry. Adjustment to asset and liability accounts that corresponding revenues or expenses to reflect the impact of accounting periods on underlying transaction. Ms. Nurul rarely do adjustment in her business, but in certain part, of course, this event will happen. So she said she will just write down in her notebook what happened, and then she adjusts and recalculate the value again. Okay, next we have adjust trial balance. The business not making any adjust trial balance since from the beginning the business did not use any proper accounting system. Next we have financial statement. Financial statement present the result of operation and the financial position of the company. The owner also not doing this step because the first constraints she faced. She also appointed anyone to prepare the financial statement for her. Therefore, she just knows the profit when she calculates the sale and pays all the expenses across in like salaries and so on in money, but not to prepare this statement. So lastly, we have reversing entries. What is reversing entries? Reversing entries is an optional journal entry that is recorded at the beginning of an accounting period to endure the prior period's adjusting entries, if necessary, to keep track of this expense so that the transaction will be allocated properly between the two periods. Reversing entries are a way to handle such transaction. This last step also not done by the owner.
Strengths and weaknesses of process recording. First, cost saving. By using a manual accounting method, Ms. Huda can reduce expenses. All she needs to do was use an Excel spreadsheet to manage her own record transaction. It's less expensive than hiring an employee with an accounting degree or a freelance accountant. It helps her in managing the account for her own business. Second, efficient file storage handling. Snadi Enterprise is a small business. Managing file is simpler because there is no need to document every financial transaction daily like a big company do, which gives them more flexibility and efficiency in handling and managing their business documents. Lastly, economy planning. Snadi Enterprise has their own monthly budget for expenses such as worker salary, utility, and monthly rent. This was all planned to achieve financial stability, so there is no over budget for their business. Weaknesses. No proper documentation. Documentation does not only make everything organized, it directly affects productivity and efficiency. Keep a track of progress, identify areas of risk, and overall ensure that everyone is on the same page. That's why the owner should have proper documentation to record all transactions in business. Second, does not have financial statement. Financial statement is a report that shows a business performance, liquidity, and cash flow. It's used by lender and investor to check a business financial health and earning potential. The process is made easier with a proper recording of all financial transactions. Lastly, no formal record reference. The owner may find it difficult to determine the profit or loss of the firm if there is no legal book of account to compare earnings across year An official reference for particular transaction may be difficult to establish if documents are misplaced, destroyed, or lost. Conclusion: accounting is important for business as it provides quantitative information, help maintain clean and up-to-date records, and help in improving business performance, overall success, quality, and customer satisfaction. Proper management and handling of finance are essential for avoiding over-budget and maintaining a systematic record of finance. Proper documentation is essential for business like Snadi enterprise as it allows for tracking transactions and providing record reference.